Listen to your heart. Tell me who you want to be. We can always start.
Evening, people. Good evening. I hope you're all doing good. It's my bad that we're late. I know it was scheduled for 10:30, and listen, the Big Six went overboard. For those of you who watch the Big Six, you know how it is. You know how it goes. We go on rants. We have debates. It's all great content, but unfortunately, it overran, and we're a little bit late now. Listen, there's 11 of you in the building right now. There's no reason why we can't get those numbers up. Just smash the like button. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button. It's free to do. Just scroll down, hit the big thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to the channel. We're getting a lot of support recently. Obviously, that's massively from the Big Six, so shout out to any of you who have come over from the Big Six. We really appreciate you coming over. We hope you stick around. We hope you hit the like button. We hope you share it around, all that good stuff. Like I always say, this channel is very much for you as well as us. We don't want it to be just us rambling on all the time. We want you to come in, give your takes, give your thoughts, and we'll have a good old friendly chat about it. We'll have a laugh, we'll have a debate. Whatever needs to be done, we will do it. You're a part of it, so keep smashing the likes and all that good stuff, and we'll grow this community together. But listen, the task on hand tonight, the talking point is, of course, our 3-2 win over Liverpool last night. The Blues were back in action in fantastic fashion as well, if I might say. We hadn't beaten Liverpool, I think, in 4 meetings. A lot of draws there, and we lost in the Community Shield. And we rectified that last night. We got one over on them finally, and there was some really, really big performances. Some players really stood up. Some people silenced their haters. We're going to get into all that. Kevin De Bruyne, stand up, my man. You silenced your haters. We had a conversation about that in the Big Six, lads, and I sent for man. I name drop rants. I said, listen, hold that. I said, Matisse, hold that. Matisse started saying he cleared his name. There was no name to clear. But anyways, listen, we're going to get into all that. Get in your thoughts, people, on the Kevin De Bruyne thing. Has he silenced his haters? Has he? I think he has. Haaland, obviously, coming in on the score sheet. Mahrez, great goal. Ake, great goal. Should have had another one, if you ask me, once again, from a De Bruyne masterclass. But we're going to get into it all. Get in your thoughts, people. Get in your talking points. What did you take away from City Liverpool? I'll read them out and we'll have a chat. I didn't go to the game, for any of you who might be wondering. I didn't go in the end. I felt for my own health and safety. I was feeling a bit run down, as I'm sure you remember from the stream the other night. I didn't go, but our resident other Irishman here did go. Revel, tell us about your experience. How did you get on? You enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it. It was really good. It was a great game to go back to. Obviously, it was a bit up and down with the scores. We were up 10 minutes and up 2 minutes. But yeah, a lot of them shone. I thought that was one of the best games I've seen from De Bruyne in ages. Like, really, in a long time. He was just that fucking good. Rico Lewis, outstanding footballer. He's class. He had, I tell you what, it would be hard to displace him now at the minute. I think he's been that good lately. And then Ake, of course, what a player.
Yeah, man. Wardy says Huey disrespecting Casemiro on the Big Six. I assume you mean. Lol, I just saw you fed to the Sharks in the Big Six. You came out fighting. Yeah, listen, I was probably a little bit disrespectful to Casemiro, and I said at the end I probably jumped the gun a little bit, but I stand by it. I think Rodri is still a better player, and that might be my City bias, but kill me. I support my players. I back my players. Rodri was phenomenal last night too, wasn't he? He was a leader of men. He was a general in the middle of the park. He sat Fabinho down. He's a tough man, Rodri. You know what I mean? One thing that I was a little bit skeptical of Rodri for a long time was, is he a teeny bit soft? You know what I mean? Great footballer technically. He's great at the link-up play, breaking up attacks and whatnot, but something that he's really added to his game is toughness. He won't take shit from anybody. He's a tough guy, and we saw that last night. And it's those kind of fixtures against those kind of rivals like Liverpool where you want your players to be resilient and tough, and Rodri did that alongside of his class as an actual footballer. But you know what? Casemiro, like I said, is also a top player, but less of that, man. We had a big debate on Casemiro versus Rodri, and once again, sue me for being biased towards my player, but that's just where I am, and I think there's enough facts for me to have at least a legitimate debate there, at my stake. But listen, Joe, you watched it too, I assume. This is the first time we've spoken since the game. What are your thoughts on that? Any standouts, any takeaways? Who played well, who played poor? What do you think of Liverpool, and how does it make you feel moving into these next crunch fixtures, some big ones coming up?
You mentioned the fixtures, and I'm going to put it up on screen because I did change it, and that Southampton match goes right in between Chelsea in the Cup and United away. So, it doesn't get much easier, but I don't think you can say anyone was really that bad. In fact, I don't think anyone was bad at all. I genuinely think that the 2 goals, I don't care what stats you can bring up. I think Liverpool getting 2 goals, they were lucky to get 2 goals. I think it flatters them, it being 3-2. We absolutely battered them, in my opinion. Especially at the start of the game, we were all over them. They couldn't get a hold of the ball. They couldn't do anything with it. And that set the tone, really. I'm surprised how quick we were, how sharp we were, which Of course, I don't think anyone was expecting us to be really, really on top of our game because we normally start seasons slow, and this was almost like a start of the season because of the break. But Pep was right in what he said with the players who actually went to the World Cup. They're still sharp because they haven't had that break from football. They've still been playing and training, to a decent level of intensity at least anyway. So you saw it with the likes of Rodri, they were still switched on. And I think that's why Haaland comes out with a sort of lower end of the rating, because even though he scored, he like his first touch sometimes was a bit off. His link-up play wasn't the best again. But he's had that 6 weeks off. So I don't think anyone was poor. And I mean, it was vintage City Liverpool, wasn't it, really? I mean, you look at the moments, there was a big scrap in the middle where you had Gundogan pushing Fabinho over and Rodri screaming at players and Darwin Nunez missing his push because he can't even get a push on target. But overall, I'm happy. We're through. We've knocked out the holders of the cup, so there will be a new winner. We've beaten Liverpool for the first time this season. It's great to do that because we hadn't beaten them in 4 games. I saw on Twitter someone said 5. I'm almost certain it's 4 that we haven't beaten them in. But it's still far too many games for a team that, like, we've won, 4 of the last 5 Premier League titles. We shouldn't be going and not being able to beat Liverpool in 4 games. So it's good to get that one done, and I'm looking forward to the return of the Premier League fixtures because that is genuinely one of the better games that I've seen us play this season. And it was the first one back after 6 weeks. Like, that's crazy, but I'm happy. I'm really happy. I enjoyed it. It was, I'm sure for the neutral, they enjoyed it as well because there was goals everywhere. And again, De Bruyne ran the show. He shut up his haters. He dropped an absolute masterclass. He dunked on Liverpool again, which... it might, future further down the line, it might stop people from slandering his name so often.
Respect my man. Boogerman says 3-2 is not batter, but I know where you're coming from. That's obviously aimed at you, Joe, for saying we battered them. And I don't know, is battering the word that you meant to use, Joe? Because I don't think we battered them as such. I think we played really, really well. And I think it was a massive improvement on some of the games and performances we saw before the break, you know what I'm saying? But Liverpool had their chances. If Noodles up front could finish his dinner, it could have been a whole different game. That's the reality. We could have seen a penalty shootout if he missed that point blank, or if he scored that point blank chance at the end of the game. And this was another big debate we had with Grizz, basically, who wasn't willing to take any slander on Darwin Nunez. But I think we should all be in agreement here, people, that listen. Keep the same energy. Jack Grealish, we bought him for 100 million, and everyone's saying, if you buy a player for 100 million, he needs to do more. You buy a striker for 100 million or 85 million pounds, whatever it was. They need to finish the basic chances. You know what I'm saying? An 85 million pound striker should finish the basic chances he gets. I'm not saying he has to be scoring worldies. He has to be getting overhead kicks or shots from outside the box. But there was 2 opportunities he had that he has to score. A player of that price has to score. You don't bring an 85 million pound striker in to let him just kind of, miss the easy chances. He'll chime in with a goal here and there. No, there's more expected of you. I mean, the one where he got in behind, and I think it was 3-2 at the time, it's close to the end of the game. We're all thinking this is going in the net. Any decent player puts that in the net. Ortega, if you ask me, his actual positioning where he set himself up wasn't even great. There was a massive chunk of the goal for Nunez to aim at. He doesn't even hit the target. He doesn't even work the keeper. It's not a case of he's having no luck and things just aren't going his way and he's getting really close. Some of his misses are actually just laughable. Laughable how far wide he's dragging some of these opportunities. I mean, like I said, Ortega literally just looked back when the ball went by and was like, how the fuck's it ended up over there? Why isn't it at least made me move or gone into the back of the net? So we got away with one there. I don't know, the Nunez one, we got away a bit lucky there, but also Joe is right. We did create a huge amount. If Ake could have finished that unbelievable cross from Kevin De Bruyne, I mean, that is one of the best crosses of a ball I've seen in my whole entire life. When you consider how deep in the half Kevin De Bruyne was, physically where he was placed in the pitch, to get that whip on the ball and place it, he arced it around the whole back 4 and straight onto Ake's forehead. You know what I mean? If Ake scored that, that's one of the goals of the season. Without any debate, it's in the conversation. I mean, I don't know. Any thoughts on the Nunez thing, people? Joe, Dara, where I think it was a good debate we had in the Big Six. I know you guys didn't watch it, but maybe some of you in the chat watched it. And getting your thoughts here because I'd like to see what you guys say, and I'll read some of them out. But you two, you both watched the game. Are you in agreement with me that Nunez? I'm sorry, he has to finish 1. He had 4 big chances, 2 clear chances, and he doesn't put any to bed.
The third one's criminal. The last one's absolutely criminal, right? We were behind the goal, and as he's running with it, right, as he's belting down with it, no one around him. We're like, our head and hands, like he's gonna score here. He's gonna score. He's gonna bury it. I've never heard the fella beside me laugh so much as when he put that wide. It was the funniest thing ever. It was genuinely the funniest performance I've ever seen live because he was dog shit. Done well for the assist. He absolutely skinned Laporte, and Laporte just couldn't catch him. But if you can't finish the goals, you don't pay 85 million for a striker. Can't finish his dinner.
Joe, what do you recommend?
Oh God, it's laughable. I mean, I tuned in for the Big Six at the start. I did leave partway through it. I had to set up the stream, obviously, but I watched Grizz and Torbs just go at it with each other over Nunez, and I'm not surprised Grizz is defending him because he's his player. It's kind of his job to defend his players. I do know get behind them, but at the same time, he's missed 3 or 4 absolute sitters. Like, you can make the argument, okay, sometimes, strikers do miss chances, okay? Granted, they all do it. Haaland's missed sitters. I mean, look at the first minute of the game, he's played through 1-on-1 and he puts it into the stand from about 30 yards. I can understand, okay, he might miss 1 or 2, but 3 or 4 absolute sitters. I mean, there was that one free kick. I can't remember if it was 1-1 or 1-0. There was that one free kick Liverpool had where he's unmarked in the penalty area, about level with the penalty spot, and he puts it in the exact same position. He just drags it wide. It's awful. It's horrible. I don't know. Like, we kind of had this conversation before the game on the previous stream where it was like, his first touch isn't great, but he could put the ball in the back of the net. I'm not sure he could put the ball in the back of the net. He's got, his movement's all right. He's incredibly quick, so he gets into the right positions. But my God, his finishing is dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful. Like, I thought Gabriel Jesus was bad. This guy's like a different breed of bad at the moment, at least. Anyway, now it could just be if he gets 1 or 2, maybe he can start a run going. I think just before the international break, he got a couple against, I think they played Southampton. He got a couple there when they won, and had the season continued, maybe he would have gone on a run and gained a little bit of confidence. I don't think the World Cup helped because he played all 3 group games where they got knocked out and he didn't score in any of them. So it seems to be like just a similar sort of issue for him, really, where he can't get a streak going because whenever he even tries to get a streak going, something gets in the way, whether it be a break or an injury or something like that, or he misses a couple of big chances and his head just drops. I mean, I don't want to back him too much because I am genuinely sitting here laughing at him because I find it hilarious how he didn't score at least once in that game. But I don't know, man. They're kind of stuck with him, really. They paid all that money for him, and it's up to it. I'm talking about it like it's Harry Maguire. They're stuck with him. They paid all that money for him. They've just got to kind of find out where he fits. Whether they decide that, I think Klopp's tried him on the wing a couple of times instead of being the main guy up front, which seems to have brought a little bit of success. Maybe that might be the future for him. I don't know. I'm not a Liverpool fan. I don't really care. But I don't know what's wrong with him, genuinely. I mean, we had the whole Haaland Nunez debate at the start of the season that none of us really took any interest in, and well, I'm glad I never took any interest in it because it was kind of over by match day 2 of the Premier League when he got sent off.
It's for me it's just it's amazing how they've lowered the bar of expectation on Darwin Nunez. As the weeks have gone on, it's changed drastically what they expect of Darwin Nunez. Like you alluded to, the debate when we got our shiny new toy, it's like they're the jealous younger brother or the jealous older brother. Like, no, look at my toy. Mine's better. My one's better, And everyone's saying Nunez is going to outdo Haaland and, don't sleep on Nunez. He's gonna fill that gap that Sadio Mane has left there. And then Nunez gets sent off. He's not scoring the goals and they're going, well, hang on, He's a young player. He's new to the league. He needs time to develop. And I'm all for that when that's the narrative that he's brought in with. Not when you pay 85 million for him and you bring so much chest when he arrives in the door. You know what I mean? Keep consistent is what I'm saying. This guy for me, he was never going to be the heavy hitter that Erling Haaland is. And there's a massive difference. You watch Haaland and you watch Nunez, not just numbers-wise, not just because Haaland is scoring crazy goals and Nunez isn't. Look at them as players. They're really different mentally. The way they approach the game, they're really different. For me, Nunez, when I look at him, I look at a man really lacking confidence and no self-belief. And his confidence seems to be dented really quickly in games. When something doesn't go his way or he misses a clear-cut chance, it seems to affect him for the rest of the game. And other chances he gets, he'll fluff them too. Last night was a prime example. He missed the big chance, and the next 3 chances that came after that, he missed them too. Some of them easier, and they were getting easier as they were coming to him. But with Haaland, like you said, once again, he misses his first one. And we know with Haaland, if he misses a clear-cut chance, he doesn't go, fuck, that's embarrassing, I should have scored there. He just smiles, he just laughs and goes, right, the next one I'm going to bury. And he generally, 9 times out of 10, the fucker does bury it. So it's a cold-blooded killer thing. And I think if you're going to pay 85 to 100 million, you want a cold-blooded killer. You want a bagsman. You want an assassin. We paid 51 for our cold-blooded killer. And you paid 85 to 100 for what was meant to be yours, and it hasn't worked out. And with Grizz, I understand Grizz. You know what I mean? I wasn't going in on him too much because I've been that soldier. It was like looking back in the history books for myself. We signed Grealish for 100 million, and everyone's telling me, for 100 million, Grealish has to do much more. He has to offer more, and I wasn't taking any of it. I was, I was defending Grealish to the core. Any arguments thrown at me? Nah, I have an answer for you. Whether it was a logical answer, that's up for debate, but I had an answer. You know what I'm saying? And I came with composure. So I get where Grizz is coming from, and I sympathize with him because it is frustrating when you buy a player for big money, there's big hype put on him, and he doesn't deliver. Like Grizz was pushing the line tonight that he has 9 GNA or whatever it is, or 13, 14 GNA, 9 goals. Okay, well, if you break it down, the games he scored the goals in, first of all, one of them was in the Community Shield, so you can kind of write that off immediately because apparently nobody cares about the Community Shield except us. And then a lot of them, weren't really in games that particularly mattered, and he shot himself in the foot with bad behavior getting sent off. So you have to take everything into account. As I always say, people, context is key. Context is key. Whereas Haaland, other than the Liverpool game, I think he's turned up in pretty well any sizable fixture we've had, and especially when we've needed him to. When we need a goal and we need to be pulled out of the trenches, losing to Palace, losing to Dortmund, Haaland turns up. You know what I mean? Pulling hat-tricks out of his hole. Erling Haaland. So, don't have the conversation. And listen, it is what it is with Darwin Nunez. I still think he's going to score goals. I just don't think he's going to be the heavy hitter that they expected and they wanted, and they're probably going to have to dip back into the transfer market and rejig things a little bit. So with Nunez, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Get your thoughts on people. Listen, 25 in the building. Keep smashing the likes, people. No reason we can't get more likes. If you haven't done so already, smash the like button and do subscribe to the channel. And keep getting your thoughts in. I'm going to read some of them out, see what people are saying, because the Grealish got Gucci contract. Listen, man, don't slander Jack Grealish. Came from there, but was late for that, Hugh. Yeah, listen, go back and watch the debate we had on Darwin Nunez and the Big Six, because it was seeing Grizz get completely rattled by it was quite funny. Toby went in on him. Klopp's reaction is the funniest, man. Looks like there's ice running down his back. Man, Klopp's reaction was strange. I saw some of the clips from his post-match press conference, and he was complaining about a chance we didn't score. We didn't score, and he's saying Haaland was offside. And then I saw the still image. Haaland couldn't have been more onside. He's almost actually at his own half, but he's still he's meters away from being offside.
That's
and
the
Klopp's
goal.
crying about this.
That was the goal he was complaining for. One, that is, it hasn't even gone to him in that pass. It went out left. And then two, you're so unbelievably onside. It's ridiculous.
I know, man. Klopp's a weird guy. Klopp's a weird guy. There's a lot of weird guys in football, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I actually have massive admiration and respect for Jurgen Klopp because he's a terrific manager, but he's a strange operator. You know what I mean? When things don't go his way, he starts throwing out strange quotes, and I know Pep's done that too. A lot of the top managers have done that over. Ferguson used to do it. Wenger used to do it. Mourinho was a goldmine for it. So I suppose just take it as it comes if you like. Alvarez better than Nunez. I think Alvarez is going to finish on a higher goal tally this season than Nunez. I genuinely think that. I think Alvarez he's going to come in sick second half of the season. What do you reckon?
He's only 2 goals off Nunez now at the minute.
I know, man. And Alvarez, what? We looked into it. Alvarez made 20 appearances so far this season. Most of them, or a good few of them, you're looking at like 4 or 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he's still 2 goals off Nunez. Wild, man. Wild.
Nunez missed 3 games for headbutting somebody.
Yeah, listen. Colby says it's not like it's a one-off game where it has been like this though. Nunez has been missing chances like this all season. How Liverpool spent 85 million is laughable. So bad, couldn't hit a barn door. Colby sums it up, man. Colby sums it up well. But listen, let's leave Liverpool for now. I don't want this to become a show about Liverpool, because we need to be grateful and happy with the performance that we saw from our team last night. For me, it looked like there was a switch flipped. And I hope it's not just a one-off game and we go back to being a bit lethargic sometimes, where it's not clicking for us, against Leeds and Chelsea and whatnot. But for me, it looked like a very hungry performance. A lot of players had a point to prove. It looked like Pep got the players, sat them down and said, right, anything we didn't do well at the start of the season, now it's time to put that behind us. Second half of the season rhythm, let's get into it, people. Let's get into it straight away. And I think that's what it looked like. I think for first game back after 5-6 weeks competitive football, it was a great performance all around. I mean, Rico Lewis started right back, didn't look out of place. For Pep to throw Rico Lewis into that fixture, to start him at 18, shows Pep has plans for him. It shows Pep sees a future for Rico Lewis. He trusts him, and I can see why. He's only got a year left in his contract, Rico Lewis. We need to tie him down pretty soon, give him a decent wage, hold on to him. So, you know what, Rico Lewis, big guy. Cole Palmer too, I thought was very good. Actually, let's talk about both of them. We'll start with Rico Lewis because I kind of gave my thoughts there. Joe, what did you think of Lewis last night? I thought he was very mature, good performance, and it was funny when he laughed at Nunez.
It was funny when he was laughing at Nunez because they were calling him a shit Andy Carroll. So everyone's seen the video. If you haven't, you'll be able to find it somewhere. I mean, he already did better than Cancelo against Liverpool. Mo Salah running through one-on-one just about the halfway line, wins the ball, doesn't fall over his own feet. And I mean, look, listen, it was a weird role for him. He was playing. I mean, we saw the return of the back three and the inverted fullback, didn't we? Where we had Rico Lewis essentially just playing next to Rodri, which again he didn't look out of place. I thought on the ball he looked very good, which again for a fullback at a Pep Guardiola side, that's kind of what you want. Because we do quite often invert the fullbacks, so it's good to see that he can play that role. And yeah, man, he didn't look out of place, and neither did Cole Palmer, but. In terms of Rico Lewis, he practically he ran the show, really. I mean, was it Carvalho who was playing on the left-hand side? I know he scored, but didn't really do much else, did he? He kept him quiet for the most part, and I'm really happy with what I've seen, and I think it's a bit far to say that he shouldn't be moved out of the team, because I'm a bit hesitant to just throw him in. Just throw him in, like, right, this is your place, you start now. It's your place to lose. I'm a bit hesitant to do that because he doesn't have the experience at the elite level. Of course, the only way he's going to get that experience is playing, but when it comes to these Champions League fixtures, maybe it's not the greatest idea, but I would love to see more of him because he's proven that he has the quality to, stay with this squad. He doesn't look out of place, which is the biggest compliment you can give to a guy who's, 18? Like, he's younger than me. And he doesn't look out of place in this City team. And it's not rare. It's not often. It's very rare that you get Pep Guardiola saying stuff like he's going to be a great player for the next decade. When have you heard Pep say that about a young player before? Like, Foden maybe? Like, that's a big deal that he's throwing him in against Liverpool. I know we didn't really have that many options, but throwing him in against Liverpool and then saying for the next decade he's going to be really, really good and top class. I mean, big things for the future, and hopefully we can sort him down to a new contract.
Big Steve was telling me today that he chats to Rico Lewis quite a bit. I think they know each other quite well or something like that. And he says Rico's a top guy and he's a top man and he loves City and all that kind of stuff. So I think we have a gem in our hands, people. I think we have a gem in our hands. I think he is the successor to Kyle Walker. I think he has absolutely every attribute. He looks so comfortable, so natural. And that, a massive credit or a massive reasoning behind that is you have to give credit to our academy system and the infrastructure we have in place. It's not, we have a really unique system whereby our academies aren't a sole entity. They're not, they're very detached from the first team, and it's, everybody's in the academy flustered and trying to work their way to the first team. Pep has it set up whereby every underage team, right from the beginning, right from grassroots, the grasshoppers, whatever, the under-8s, they play the same system, the same way they're taught, and they're bred to play the same way the first team do. So as the time goes on, they learn the system for 8, 9, 10 years. When they do eventually get their opportunity with the first team, it's just natural. Like I said, with the goal he scored in the Champions League a few weeks ago or a few months ago now, he looked like he'd been in that position 500 times before. You know what I mean? It wasn't a new moment for him. It wasn't a new feeling. There was nothing scary for him. It's just, I've done this as a right back at City for years. There's nothing new here. And that's why these players are able to come through and slot in when they're good enough. And Pep gives these opportunities to players who he thinks he sees a future for. It's not like Tommy Doyle or Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who's actually doing great at Burnley, or James McAtee at Sheffield United and whatnot, who were sent out on loan. And for me, usually that's an indication that Pep doesn't really see a future for them. Maybe there'll be an exception for Taylor Harwood-Bellis because he's doing so well with Burnley, but they probably want to stay there. And I think City will let him stay there. If they get promoted and whatnot, it would be great for them to do that. But you know what I'm saying? If Pep's playing them and not sending them out on loan, it means there's a future for them. And I think that's something to be excited about. And we're seeing that with Cole Palmer too. I thought he was very good last night. Rebel, any thoughts on him?
He was good, but the first 10, 20 minutes when he was proper going on, when he was running at Milner, he didn't really make Milner sweat at all. Everyone was just saying like he's 37, like just take it around him, just do him. He wasn't doing that. He was very uncomfortable on the left hand side without a right foot, 'cause he's so used to being on the other side and using the inside channels. He looked as a wide winger. No, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of him out there. But with all that being said, he was still very good. He attracted a lot of players as well, which I thought was good. The centre half was out, the right hand side of centre half, Matt he was always going over to him as well. He attracted players, and it's not often you can say that when there's a player magnet like Haaland in there.
I know, absolutely. Top of the league says, we're not top of the league just yet, by the way. Soon come, hopefully. Thought Rico was overcommitting at times, but was that Pep instruction? Poor play for their second goal. That said, there was 4 of them, and how did not one of them stop the Ox? Team very naive after our second. Yeah, listen, we kind of switched off, didn't we? We kind of switched off when I think it was for Salah's goal, wasn't it, in the end? Salah tapped in the equaliser for the second. Listen, hopefully we'll stamp that out over the next few weeks. Wiz, Pep rarely says the youngsters will be part of the club for a decade. He must really like Lewis and the progress is made. Absolutely, the proof is in the pudding. It's when you see Pep make comments like that, which, like you said, and Joe said, he rarely does. And when he's given them the game time, like he's given the likes of Lewis and Palmer, it means there's a plan in place. It means there's a future. I would say very, very soon, City will tie Rico Lewis down to a new contract. Please God, anyway. Palmer had Milner on toast. I thought so too. I think you're actually probably underplaying Palmer a little bit. I thought he had Milner on toast.
He didn't really beat him though. The thing now, look, I thought he could just skid past him. Milner wasn't. You could tell he wasn't comfortable with it. That's why another centre half was coming across. But Palmer didn't really take. I don't think he just caught wind of it. It's like he's absolutely terrified of me and just gone for him. He just kept going inside while still using his left foot. There's no real danger of a cross or a shot, or without using his right foot. Sorry, there's no real danger of an in-swinging cross or him to take a shot. They knew what he was going to do. But I think I'm not trying to downplay him too much. I thought he was still fantastic. Just didn't beat Milner very often, and then Milner ended up going off, and Joe Gomez had one of the worst performances I've ever seen as a footballer.
I think you're dead wrong. I think he's dead wrong on this, by the way. I think Palmer got past Milner numerous times when he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
He beat him to the byline. So he beat him to the byline a good...
He beat him to the byline. He was doing him for pace and all when he was getting onto the ball. It was the actual one-on-one beating him. I didn't see much of it.
He got past it. He did skin him once, actually. He checked back and he proper sent Milner with a feint and got to the byline. I think the only thing that was missing from Palmer was the finishing, because there was that one where I think it was 1-0 at the time.
There was 2 of them.
There was one. No, but I'm talking about the first one where he's put it out for a throw in, basically, and it's like, oh, how have you done that, mate? But apart from that, like, I don't know why he was taken off. Maybe it's because Pep wanted to reintroduce the English boys. Grealish and Foden came on. Maybe it's because he wanted to get them some minutes in the legs coming back from the World Cup. But I don't understand why Palmer was taken off, because I thought he was one of our better players. And, you know, is he going to get given that chance, you know, with the resumption of the Premier League? Probably not. I would have liked to have seen him complete the game like Rico Lewis, you know, get them minutes in and, you know, see if he could maybe do something. Because like you said, Joe Gomez, apart from that one game against us at Anfield this season, diabolical.
Yeah. I don't get the Joe Gomez hype. I never did. He does chime in a couple of times this season with a brilliant performance. He does. But he's never just like a consistent. You know the way we used to speak about Zinchenko being like a consistent 7 out of 10? Gomez isn't that. Gomez is either a 4 or a 9. For me, that's not something I want in my team. You don't want a player who's really lacking consistency, especially in the defense. But yeah, for me, I'm with Joe on this one, man. And I think a lot of the chat with Joe too. I think Palmer was fantastic last night. And you're probably right that the finishing wasn't what you would want it to be. I mean, there was that one chance he had. He got his footing completely wrong. And you know what? Look, it happens, you know. Nobody's perfect. It happens. You get your footing wrong, but you would like him to do a teeny bit better there. But I spoke about players feeling comfortable and natural because they've been in these positions a million times before, and you know they know what they're doing because the setup we have in the academy. But like I said, Palmer hasn't played in the left. I don't think ever. He's not a left-hand sided player. It was new for him, and to even have an experienced player, whether he's old or not, Milner's experience. You know, Milner would have been looking at Palmer thinking, I'm going to use all my experience here to do a good job on him. And Palmer's thinking, I'm a young man against an old man. So it was always going to be an interesting battle. And for me, Palmer came out on top. But you know what I mean? Palmer's been thrown around a lot in different positions. He's played midfield, he's played right, he's played left. So I think the fact that Pep keeps giving him the game time and trusting him to play in these positions he's not used to is also a massive credit to Cole Palmer. To the top of the league, do you think Palmer may be affected too much by things that never went for him? Is he feeling high pressure to be successful? Can't be easy. I'm sure all the players coming up through our academy who do get their opportunity with the first team feel a massive amount of pressure to do well and to be successful and to continue the success that we've had as a squad for so many years now, for about a decade. You know, you need to come in and continue the consistency and raise the bar. You know what I mean? You need to keep striving for more and more and raise the bar. You have to do that. There is a pressure to do that. But from anything I've seen of Cole Palmer, he seems like a pretty mature guy. He's pretty headstrong. And I rate him. I really like Cole Palmer, and I hope he has a big career and a big future at City. Big up, massive. How is the vibration? Fern Gully says. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Only a young kid, isn't he? Yeah, man. He's only, 19, 20? Is he younger than you as well, Joe?
Do you want me to fact check this? Cole
He's
Palmer.
20. He's 20.
All right, so he's older than me then. Thank God. I'm not that old yet.
You're getting old, Joey boy. You're getting old, man.
Oh, is he older than me?
Yeah, he'd be older. I think he's older than both of you, yeah. Wiz Morris started the game very sluggish at halftime. I'd probably take him off for Foden and switch Palmer to the other side. This is a problem with Morris all season, isn't it, lads? You know what I mean? He's not been great all season, and I struggle to see him starting in the big games, even though we know Pep loves him. Great goal. I think I stand by it when I say it, that Morris has the best first touch in the league. That outside of the boot touch he has, it's deafening. You know, it's a brilliant first touch, and he took his goal brilliantly, but I don't know. He needs to improve. Rico and Cole are going to be a decent part of the schedule in the winter months. The schedule is a pain in the ass with some big teams. I think this game was sort of a test. As fans, we enjoy this, don't we? We really enjoy the big games, the fixture congestion, because we're entertained. We've got stuff to talk about. We've got stuff to look at all the time. But it's really important in-game management. You have to really manage to a T how many minutes you give each player, bearing in mind all the games you have coming up. We spoke about that in the preview stream, didn't we? About players returning too soon or not soon enough and whatnot, and bearing in mind the fixture congestion coming up. So when Pep takes off a player, it's with a plan in mind. Come on, I am just asking how is everything with you guys. Sorry, Fern, I didn't understand what you were saying. We're all good, man. We're blessed. We're happy with the result last night. I'm older than Haaland, but he looks 6 years older than me, says Dano. Haaland is just a freak of nature, isn't he?
Brendan Gleeson.
Unbelievable. Foden. What?
Brendan Gleeson. Did you see the silhouette? The Champions League thing. The Champions League page for silhouette saying yesterday, and someone replied Brendan Gleeson. He's fucking image of him.
He does look a teeny bit like Brendan Gleeson.
I'll get you the picture. It's class. Go on, you keep talking. I'll find it.
To be fair, though, as much as I love Grealish, he has been... No, he's not D1, man. I'm not agreeing with this. He has not been as sluggish as Mahrez. Grealish has been far more lively and active this season than Riyad Mahrez. The only thing is Mahrez has more GNA, doesn't he? The stats look better for Mahrez. But I think in overall output and what he's offering to the team, Grealish is offering more. I mean, Haaland has the bulk of his goals. Brendan Gleeson. Haaland has the bulk of his goals with Grealish in the pitch. So I'm going to disagree with you on that one. Rodri casually walked his dog Fabinho last night. It was beautiful to see. What do we make of that spat? Between Rodri and Fabinho? I think Rodri made him his bitch, personally.
I think Fabinho should be fucking sent off for it.
Yes, he kicked.
Personally, I think he should be sent off. He's gone in two-legged, scissored him. Not only has he done that and that, but before he gets up, he gives him another boot in the leg, gets up, Rodri shoulders him in the shoulder, gives him a little barge. He goes like this. Fuck off. You shouldn't even be on the pitch. You should be jumping down like that. Little windbag. And then your man Paddy Murphy giving out saying that Rodri should have been sent off. Yeah, man, I think it was Craig as well. Big Anfield agenda, Craig. He should have.
Fuck those two idiots, man.
Yeah, fucking clowns. Two fucking clowns, right? Because Rodri should have been sent off because he shoved Carvalho off the ball. Oh, you could shove Carvalho off the ball. Oh, you could. He's a fucking little. Like, he's the same weight as me. I can put him over. You think Rodri's not going to be able to put him over? Give over, you two fucking...
It was a great sequence, though, wasn't it? Because you had the whole Fabinho-Rodri thing. Gundogan comes in and shoves Fabinho to the floor. Nunez comes in, misses his push. Henderson tries to shoulder Rodri and he doesn't even move. Like, there was a lot of action going on. And I think that kind of sums up the rivalry, really, doesn't it? That sums up what people were waiting to see. The emotions boiling over because Rodri had shown that he was up for it again with the Carvalho stuff, because Carvalho cropped him with a late challenge in the first half, and he got up and he went at him. Rodri went at him. It's like, Rodri, mate, he's like half your size. There's no need to do that. Like, you don't have to go and square up to him. He's only little. So he was on edge the whole game, and then it kind of just boils over with Fabinho crunching him for no reason, because that's what Fabinho does. He did it last year as well and avoided a red card.
And then there was Darwin Nunez.
He missed it. I can't get that
target
video out
practice.
of my
How do you
head.
miss a push?
How does he? He comes in for a push and misses everybody.
It just summed up Darwin Nunez's night for me. He couldn't get his shots on target. He couldn't get his pushes on target. What do you pay 85 million for? He can't even get a push on target. It's
Boys, I can't begin to describe how funny he is, though. Like, you're sat there and you're like, they paid 85 million. Any sensible striker is putting this in the back of the net. Any striker who could have two brain cells rubbed together is putting this in the back of the net. He drags it so far wide, nearly hits the corner flag. Like,
yeah,
he did
the ball
it
had to go running.
Like, they I think the grass might have been too long again, or maybe Haaland was just offside for all the chances.
I showed it to
It
my
was a bit
dad.
windy.
I showed it to my dad, that one where he was, the one where he's through 1-on-1, the last one that he had. I showed it to my dad. I'm like, where do you think he puts this? He went, well, knowing Darwin Nunez, he's aimed. Knowing Darwin Nunez, he's aimed for that top corner near post, and it's just gone wide of the post. I said, no, it's gone halfway across that Carabao sponsorship on the floor.
It's like nothing will prepare you for where he puts this ball.
Does it end up in the back of the net? Does it end up just wide of the near post, or does it end up near the corner flag?
Oh, they put like 4 footballs on the screen to say which one is the actual ball.
And it's just the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music over.
I phone a friend because with this guy you never fucking know. Pissed off Rodri is a refreshing sight to see. Love to see the emotion like that, especially coming from the most mild-mannered player on the pitch. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's added to his game a bit of bite. He's added a lot of bite to his game, and it's good. We need players like that to stand up in those moments. Surprised he assisted Salah for the second. Yes, I suppose. Brother Lukaku could put that in target. Let's not jump the gun, Darsh. Lukaku.
Let's not go back there. Don't go back there. We'll be here all night.
No, I don't have the energy, man. I'm a bit hungover. I don't have the energy for that.
Yeah, he didn't come over to Manchester. He went out on the fucking night out in Dublin.
Yeah, my arm got twisted. I was sitting on my couch, and the lad said, "Do you want to go to the pub and watch the match?" I said, "I'll go for one." It's never one, is it? It's never one. Rodri's a solid youth. What is he? 26, 27?
My driller.
Eating the humble pie, don't you worry, lads. Maybe, bugger, man. Who knows? But like, listen, in terms of the Carabao, obviously, we've breezed past Liverpool with ease, and now we draw Southampton away. We'll do proper content for that when the time comes. But I think in the overall context of the competition, we should win it. We should regain our Carabao status, the kings of the Carabao. And it's so annoying that we didn't win it last year. What did we do? 4 in a row? Was it 4 or 5?
4.
Yeah, so we could be on track
Fucking
now for.
outrageous.
We could be on track right now for a 6th in a row if we didn't fuck it up last year. How crazy is that?
See, West Ham and penalties.
Yeah.
Still pains me, really. It still pains me to this day, because we were genuinely penalties is our kryptonite. It doesn't matter.
You didn't
in what
watch it on,
context.
but just
No, we didn't. It wasn't even televised, so we had to watch a stream. Like, you had to come find a way to
perfectly
watch
legal
it.
stream.
Yeah.
Me and Joe did a watch along for a league game, wasn't it? 1 each, wasn't it?
There was,
We
yeah.
did-
I
we-
remember it got great views. It was a great stream.
We did
The Bruyne was
Southampton.
great.
Southampton away, where we drew 1-1. That was like our first one back in ages, and it didn't go very well because De Bruyne wasn't great, and Sterling missed a sitter, and overall it just wasn't great. Like,
That's why you don't see many watch-alongs anymore.
I mean,
No, if people want watch-alongs, man, if people want watch-alongs, we'll bring them back, and you guys can help us decide what games you want us to do watch-alongs for. If there's an appetite for watch-alongs, we can bring them back. We can bring watch-alongs back. Someone says something here I want to read out. Yeah, Flair Boss. I think if City win the Carabao Cup, that could get players like Haaland, Phillips, Alvarez, and Gomez into the Blues culture. We could go on and achieve the lot. Listen, winning trophies. This is why I always say don't disrespect any trophy. And people laugh at me in the Big Six when I say I like the Community Shield. I always want the Carabao Cup. I've made that my line. You know me, I love the Carabao Cup because the thing is, winning breeds winning. Winning breeds winning. When a player or a team get a taste for a trophy or they get that first bit for themselves, particularly for their first ever bit of success as a player, they go, wow, this is unbelievable. And they feel very emotionally attached then to where they won it and the club they're with and whatnot. It breeds winning. It breeds more winning, and it makes for a winning mentality. You want every single trophy you compete for. You should want to go in with the idea of, we want to win this. We want to add this to our trophy cabinet. We want more medals. Always strive to be the best all the time, people. You guys, Dublin, yeah, top of league. Myself and Rebel are from Dublin, and Joe is from, I always forget. What's it called again?
Some shithole in the north.
Some shithole in the north. Colby, Southampton was the second, third team we could have gotten, so I am happy with that. Listen, you see, Joe very kindly, without even telling me, made a nice graphic there of all the draw for the quarterfinal, didn't he? United versus Charlton. You would have to think that United will win that relatively easily. Us versus Southampton. I don't think it'll be an easy game, and it's a place that we struggle, St. Mary, sometimes, isn't it? They always make it tough for us, regardless of what sort of form they're in. So tough game, but as always, we back our boys. We think we'll win. Newcastle Leicester could be a cracking game, really, couldn't it? You would think Newcastle will win it, but it could be a very, very good game. And then you've got Forest versus Wolves. I don't know who I'd call there, but you're looking at everybody there, and you're thinking a Manchester Derby final would be on the cards, or that would be something people would look for. And I just look at it and I think we're going to win the lot. I think we're going to win the Carabao. When I say the lot, I don't mean quadruple. I don't think quadruple isn't the question. I will always disregard a quadruple unless we've won the Carabao. We're in an FA Cup final. We're in the Champions League final, and we've already wrapped up the league. Until we get to that point, don't talk to me about quadruple. But in this competition, lads, Joe, I think we should really be going on to win this now. And I would want to play full strength 11 against Southampton. There's 3 games left in the competition. For the sake of another trophy, go full strong.
I'd like to go full strength, but again, the whole schedule thing pops up again, doesn't it? Where it's Chelsea, then the Southampton match, and then United away, which would have been interesting, because if we would have drawn United, we would have had the running from hell where it's Chelsea, United, and Spurs. So I'm almost kind of glad we avoided United on that one, because I don't really want to play them twice, and Chelsea twice, and then Spurs. It's not ideal. So full strength for Southampton. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting whether because it's right after the Chelsea match in the FA Cup, not the league match, the FA Cup match against Chelsea. So it'd be interesting to see whether does he value the Carabao Cup more because we're in the quarterfinals and there's more of a chance to win it because we're further in the competition, or does he go for Chelsea more because it's a tougher opposition, and again it's an opportunity to progress and carry on and compete for everything still. I don't know. I mean, in Pep's mind, he wants to compete for everything, but we faced this problem before, haven't we, when it comes to cup competitions, where I'm looking back just as soon as 2 years ago where we had that absolute awful stretch where we lost to Chelsea in the that was the FA Cup semi-final as well, I think, at Wembley, where we lost to them because we had big Champions League games. It was around the time of PSG in the semi-final of the Champions League, where we just kind of went second string against Chelsea. We're not really too pushed on that one. We'll focus on PSG because we could get to a Champions League final. So I don't know what he'll be thinking when it comes to that. Of course, I'd love to get through, and I want to get through because I want to win a trophy. It's good to get players. I think whoever said it before, their name eludes me, that the likes of Haaland, Phillips, players who we've just signed who haven't got that taste of success yet. To get over the line in these winning league titles, you need to know how to win. And step one is winning a trophy. And even if it's just a Carabao Cup or a Community Shield, they know what it's like to lose. We've already lost that Community Shield. That's fine. But winning the Carabao Cup, because the final comes, it's the first final in season, it's the first trophy that is won, be great, because again, you get used to winning, and then when you like the saying, winning breeds winning, don't you? So I think we should go on and try and win this. I'm actually more worried about Newcastle than I am Man United, to be frank. I think that Newcastle, they're third in the Premier League. They are unbelievable. 3-3 draw when we played them at their place. Of course, I think the semi-finals are back to 2 legs this year, although I'm not sure how that works with the scheduling. I don't know how they're going to figure that out, but they'll find a way. But I'm more scared of Newcastle. I'm genuinely, with United. They're a good team. They're on the up. They've picked up a bit of form. But I'm still more scared of Newcastle, man. There's something about that where they're on the up and they're looking at European football. I'm sure they'd like to get their hands on a first trophy as well, so they get used to winning. And I think that's the sort of thing that, of course, United don't want as well under Ten Hag. They want to try and get used to winning. They brought in Casemiro, who's used to winning. They're going to try and, breed that throughout the whole squad. So, it's not going to be easy, but I still think, given the teams that are left in it, you know, we've knocked out the holders. We beat Chelsea in the third round. You know, we've had a tough run so far. Let's go on and win it.
Do you guys know Jamie Carr? Top Elite says, I don't. Boogerman is in me, Hugh. Oh, my bad. You meant the humble pie thing. My bad. Ferngully, do you guys think Jude Bellingham will play for City? Let me hear you guys' opinion. My opinion is yes. Yes, he will play for City. We've done a few in-depth streams recently on the Jude Bellingham thing. So if you want to get like a proper conversation out of us on that, go back and watch that. We've all given our thoughts multiple times. My thing is City work in silence when it comes to transfers. We don't make our business very public. We don't leak things to journalists and, you know, try to make a whole fiasco out of it. We just do our thing. We show our interest. We get it done. Bang, it's announced. So I think that's what's happening. Liverpool are making all the noise. We're doing our thing in silence. And that kind of links into what D1 is saying. Is the rumors true that Bellingham has a preferred destination, Real Madrid, or is it lies? It's lies. His preferred destination is not Real Madrid. He's coming to the Premier League. It'll be Liverpool or City, and I think it's City. He's an academy coach from Hoth. Oh, is this guy Jamie Carr must work in the City Academy as a coach? That's pretty cool. Hoth and Dublin people, by the way. Darsh says, remember that those who win the Carabao Cup usually further their momentum in the latter part of the season. The hunger for titles increases. Not a difficult analogy. No, absolutely, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Winning breeds winning. You win a trophy, it'll spur them on, hopefully, to, you know, push hard in the Premier League and chase that Premier League. And who knows, maybe a Champions League, an FA Cup. Maybe we could get into quadruple conversation, but like I said a few minutes ago, quadruple is out of the equation. It's not a thing for me. I put money on us getting United/Charlton next round. I hope not. I'd love a Manchester Derby final in Wembley. Great memories of last time we played United in Wembley, don't we? So I'd love that personally. I'd go to that as well, obviously. Leicester isn't the same. I see United, City, Newcastle, Wolves. I think Joe was kind of saying that as well, that he fears Newcastle a little bit. I see Rico and Cole playing versus Southampton. I could see that too. I think we're doubting Newcastle the most. United won't be a problem. Newcastle will want this trophy to get the players fired up to get a top four finish. That's exactly what Joe's saying as well, isn't it, Joe? You know, Newcastle will want that first trophy. Massive momentum for them. It will be a big step for them in the direction that they're trying to go, you know, that success direction. I agree. I fear Newcastle's hunger for a trophy more than United, says Kobe. I will tell you something about Jamie. He's currently rowing across the Atlantic. He's from Hoth. Big up Jamie Carr with his rowing across the Atlantic. I hope it goes well. But listen, anyway, any more thoughts on the Carabao, on City versus Liverpool?
Just really impressed. Just really impressed. You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot for people who have either had 6 weeks off or spent 6 weeks playing football in those temperatures to come back and drop big games. And you know they did. Ake again, outstanding. Like he hasn't been mentioned enough. I don't think his work he done on Salah on the right hand side was fucking brilliant. We've talked about De Bruyne and Lewis until the cows come home, but it's just a great performance to, especially coming off Brentford, where you look at it and go, I'm confident that if we play like that for the rest of the season, we'll win everything.
I agree. Ake was great, and someone said it earlier on the chat, forgive me for not remembering who it was, said that Cancelo is going to struggle to get his place back if Ake keeps playing so well, because Ake had a great World Cup. I know Netherlands didn't get as far as they would have wanted and whatnot, but Ake outshone Virgil van Dijk for me in that defence, and you know he's playing very well for City whenever he's called upon, so we're in a great position in terms of depth, and it looks like hopefully we can kick on from this. And you know, Leeds next week, we'll do a preview for that over the weekend. I'm not sure what date Leeds is on. Is it the 28th? Yeah, 28th. Yeah. So we've actually got a couple of days. We've got 5 days. So that's probably the biggest gap between fixtures we're going to have for a long time. So a bit of rest, bit of recovery. We'll do a preview for Leeds probably on the Tuesday, the 27th. And make sure you're all there for that. We might go live tomorrow night at 10:30. Make sure you have the notification bell turned on for that, so you don't miss it. We'll just have general chit chat. We'll have a topic to discuss, and you guys can get involved as always. Just on your way out, do us a massive favor, people, if you would, and smash the like button if you haven't done so already, or if you're watching it on playback. I know it was a slightly shorter stream than usual because of the Big Six going overtime a little bit, but we still wanted to come on and give you our general thoughts and hear what some of you had to say on that big win. So, like I said, I don't see why we can't go on and win the Carabao. I think the Leeds game obviously is massive next week. A big few weeks coming up. We've got 8 fixtures between now and the 20th of January, which is absolutely crazy. Hopefully we can pick up wins all round. So listen, keep the notification bell turned on. We may go live tomorrow night. We'll definitely be live over the weekend. Plenty of content to come as always. And we'll see you in the next one. Wrap her up, Joe. Good night.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you want to be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand.